Some punishments were designed not to kill, but to make life far worse than death. Here are the worst. Some punishments were designed not to kill, but to make life far worse than death. Here are the worst. I remember the first time I read about these devices and methods, a knot in my stomach. The kind of cold curiosity that makes you look away and then lean in closer. Over centuries, people refined cruelty into engineering. The brazen bull was a hollow bronze statue shaped like a bull. The condemned were locked inside. A fire heated the metal from the outside. Tunnels, chambers. The heat would slowly roast a person alive rather than kill them instantly. Searing pain, dehydration, slow organ failure. The bull's body amplified sound. Craftsmen carved the interior. Craftsmen carved the outlets. A person's screams were distorted into the low, mournful bellow of a bull, tuned for an audience. Paralase of Athens, the alleged inventor. He presented it to a tyrant who delighted in the theater of pain. An origin drenched in cruelty and psychological terror. Scaphism is perhaps the most stomach-turning of ancient punishments. The condemned were placed between two boats, in a hollowed log, naked and immobile, fed milk and honey smothered in filth. The sweet mixture attracted flies, other insects. They laid eggs and began to eat the victim alive. Exposure to sun-rain insects ensured a slow decline. Skin-softened wounds festered maggots in open sores. Victims reportedly stayed conscious for days, tormented by crawling creatures. The rack is synonymous with medieval torture, a device where ropes attached to a roller stretched limbs until joints dislocated and muscles tore. Victims were bound and the mechanism would be cranked, slowly producing deliberate, escalating pain designed to extract confessions or theatrical recantations. It wasn't just about forcing words. The rack aimed to break will and leave enduring damage. Nerves shredded, shoulders irreparably harmed, hips irreparably harmed, a life reduced to chronic agony. Interrogators alternated periods of intense stretching with cruel pauses to prolong desperation and compliance. Chapter 4. The Iron Maiden, an iron coffin studded inside with spikes, appears in many accounts as the quintessential medieval horror. Victims were supposedly closed within, the spikes positioned so as to avoid immediately fatal hits, while inflicting deep wounds that caused slow bleeding infection. Modern historians argue many Iron Maidens were later fabrications or theatrical pieces, yet the image worked as a potent symbol. A metal sarcophagus designed to convert public execution into a tableau of suffering. Whether historical fact or sensationalized myth, the Iron Maiden became a psychological instrument meant to terrify. The idea of being enclosed in a bed of iron and spikes plays on claustrophobia and the dread of slow injury. Chapter 5. The breaking wheel is a public method meant to prolong death through systematic fracturing. Victims were tied to a large wheel while executioners smashed limbs with heavy blows, then threaded the battered body through the spokes for public exhibition. The process could take hours or days. Shock blood loss infection forcing communities to witness the state's dominance in gruesome detail. The position on the wheel turned the body into a slow-moving monument to punishment, often accompanied by a ceremonial procession to underline the lesson. Legal codes prescribed the exact number of blows for certain crimes. Chapter 6. Rat torture exploited a creature's chewing instincts with terrifying intimacy. A rat would be trapped against a victim's body under a heated container. The animal, desperate to escape, would gnaw through flesh. Variants included placing rats on the abdomen. Variants included placing rats on the chest. The container was heated so the rat sought an exit through soft tissue. The result was localized, focused destruction, tiny teeth, relentless burrowing, frantic scratching. The technique played on primal fears, rats and filth or disease. The idea of one tearing through skin triggers visceral disgust. Rat torture was often improvised and clandestine. Chapter 7. Scourging and flogging were common punishments. When repeated, they stripped flesh-opened wounds and invited deadly infection. In some legal systems, flogging was combined with staged amputation. After enduring repeated lashes, a victim might be publicly disfigured by having a limb removed to symbolically and permanently mark transgression. Floggers used instruments, whips knotted with metal, straps with embedded shards, that maximized tearing rather than simple strikes. Each lash wasn't just physical, it was communal shaming. Survivors faced not only physical disability, but social ostracism and chronic infection that could slowly claim life long after the sentence. Chapter 8. Immurement is the practice of sealing someone in a confined space, behind walls, in small chambers, inside hollowed structures, leaving only minimal food or water until the person dies. This method combines sensory deprivation, exposure to the elements, the psychological collapse that accompanies slow starvation. Victims experience progressive sensory decline. Darkness, the faint rhythms of their own breath, the creeping panic as days pass without normal human contact. In some accounts, insects vermin enter the sealed space, accelerating physical decay and terror. These punishments were engineered to break body and soul. If history teaches anything, it's how cruelty was often crafted deliberately. Looking back at these methods is a sobering reminder that human ingenuity can be used to harm as well as to heal. We've walked through instruments and rituals designed to torment senses, prolong suffering, and turn punishment into spectacle. The through line is intentionality, each method refined to maximize terror and prolong decline. Like for more shocking history, subscribe.